Hello guys, how's it going? My name is David Santiago Perez, and today I'm going to talk to you about conversion or functional shift. Now, this is a topic related to the processes of word formation, similar to derivation, where you have to add suffixes, prefixes. You can also have some parasynthesis, and so on. But in this particular topic, I'm just going to talk to you about conversion or functional shift. Now let's start with what is conversion. So conversion is when we have a word, we use it for, let's say, a noun, and we keep that form exactly the same, but we use it as a verb. Now we call that a functional conversion because it's changing the function. It previously was a noun, it is now a verb. Now I have here this example. Now, yeah, in phone as a noun, we have a phone, a regular device, and I can also say I'm gonna phone you, so I'm using it as a verb. We call it as syntactic change because, well, we have a noun previously and now we're using a verb. Notice how we also change stress. Well, this is particularly the case of those words that have more than two syllables. As in the, I'm gonna explain that in more detail in the upcoming slides. So just wait a bit. All right, now what are some of those examples? Not dealing with stress yet. So we have from verb to noun, we have run, drive, walk, bruise, cut, look, call, and so on. We can also change the syntactic form from noun to verb, as you see here. So we have man, head, shoulder, telephone, last, contact, and ship. I'm sorry. All right, those were the examples. So let's continue. So it's not also not just exclusively related to the topic of noun to verb and verb to noun. We can also change adjectives to verb, as in empty. Let's say I have an empty backpack. I'm using it as a noun, and I can say empty your backpack. Right there, I'm using it as a verb. So that's the adjective to verb change. We also have adjective to noun, daily, and finally this one is called particle to a verb. So particle is just how we call the bigger group of prepositions, pronouns, and adjectives. And we have here the word down. I can also use down as a verb. After the conversion. So what happens after the conversion? What can I say after the conversion? Let's say I have this kind of switch, which is verb to noun. So if I do that, the new word that I'm gonna get is gonna have more emphasis. This is, for example, the case of a fight. If I was gonna say they're fighting, in contrast to there's a fight, the emphasis now is carried on the action. So that is the case of the fight, an action. Now I can also tell the result of the action. If it was finished, I no longer have to use any form of past tense. I can just say an award. And finally, I can talk about the location, like a sink. Sink comes from the verb to sink. So I'm talking about specific location, an object. In this case, and all of these cases, I'm adding more information. So I'm kind of having more specificity in the case of what's going on after the conversion. I have more information. So what happens when we add more information? Well, we have a couple of perks. One is that now I can count verbs. For example, kiss. The verb kiss is non-countable, but if we talk about uh, one kiss, two kisses, three kisses, now I have the option to count them because they're nouns now. I can also add more specificity. As I have more information, I can be more concrete with what I'm trying to say. For example, I have a lock. These ones that look like this. The word lock itself doesn't have much information, but when I use it, accompany it with more words, such as a house, I can say lock the house. So I'm using the word lock to add more specificity about saving a door maybe, or you get the idea. All right. So another question that you may be wondering, that you may have right now, is how can we know if the origin of a word is, how can we know the origin of a word? So is this word original, or is this the word that is derived from that word? And that is the case of most noun to verb conversions. We have, for example, here butter. So how can I know if butter is the derivation or is it the original? Well, we have this rule, and primary nouns will always have the infinitive form or the original form. And this means that the derivation form will carry the meaning of the original form. So here I have butter. If I say butter the bread, I'm still carrying the meaning of butter, the original object, to apply it into the bread. So I know that the verb butter must not be the original. The original form is the noun. I also have another clue here, and is converted words will have the regular inflection. So I have inflections like ed, or I can make them countable if I add s at the end. I will know something is original because in the original form, after the conversion, they will not have s or ed or ing. This is the example of highlight. Highlight is the original from highlighted. So highlighted is what's the result of the action, and highlight is the action itself. That's how I know it's the original. All right. Finally, I want to talk about stress. We can make conversions just by simply changing the stress. Let's say, for example, I have the word permit. If I say permit with a stress in the first syllable, I'm talking about an object, something that I can give you. If I, on the other hand, talk about permit, I'm talking about the action. I'm gonna permit you something. Most of the time, nouns will have the stress on the first syllable, and the verbs will have the stress on the second syllable. So let me write this. On the first syllable, we have nouns, first, and on the second syllable we'll have verbs. That's a good form to remember. Okay, this is the only reference I used. This is an excellent book. I recommend you guys to read that if you want to have more information about word formation. It's been a pleasure, as always, and take care. Goodbye.